I'm Deborah, and I just wanted to come on real quick and share a little bit. Someone asked me, how do you know what to look for in a relationship these days? It may seem like, rightly so, relationships are falling apart left, right, and center in our world today. Even people who are staying together, a lot of them aren't truly happy. They feel unfulfilled in many different ways. Or maybe they're lying to themselves and hoping that things get better. To see couples that are truly enjoying their time as couples and not losing themselves in some form of unhealthy pattern is actually quite rare. So I wanted to come on and share some things to think about when you're considering an intimate relationship, intimate partnership. And I would love to know and love to see in the comments what your thoughts are about this, whether you agree, disagree, if there's anything you would add. So one of the first things that is really important to think about is why you want to enter into a relationship. So before you even start looking, what's your intention? So if your intention is to purely have cure loneliness or have lots of sex, whatever it might be, there's nothing wrong with that, but you need to be clear on that. And that's going to be a very different intention and way of seeking out a relationship than a relationship where you are looking to expand and grow as a person and enjoy experiencing more and more of who you are in partnership with someone else. There are many reasons for relationships. I'm not going to go into all of them. Some people marry or not marry, but get into intimate relationships for status, for power, for money, for a lot of things, right? And what I really want to focus on now is what I encourage in the processes that I teach, what I encourage for entering into healthy relationships. In this age, so in 2024, not maybe what it was for our parents, it was different. It was a different world then. We're in a period of global transition. We're moving from an old story and paradigm to a new one. We're in transition. We're not in the new one yet, but that is part of the reason why relationships are so much more challenging to make happy and satisfying now than they might have been for our parents or grandparents and so on. So if your intention, so I'm just going to say this. The intention that we're moving forward with is that you are wanting to grow and expand as a person, and you know that the best or a more powerful way to do it than trying to be on your own and meditate alone, which there's nothing wrong with that either, and if you do it, you should still keep doing it even if you're in a relationship. But the more powerful way to be able to grow and expand as a person is to be able to do that in relationship, because there's certain things that intimate relationship will bring out for you that you won't be able to access on your own. So the only way you'll know is if you actually are in partnership with someone and then you're like, oh, they hit that button. What's that about? So that's the first thing. That's the intention that we're setting. We're setting it from the frame that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and not that we're animals with a little bit of higher intelligence, because that's another way of looking at relationship I'm not getting into. We're not looking at it from a men versus women standpoint, which is part of the old and dying paradigm, but we're looking at it from just whole beings, whole individuals looking to keep growing and expanding in partnership with others in a way that they cannot by themselves as individuals. Okay, so that's our starting point, is why you're getting into a relationship. Then once you know why you're getting into a relationship and how you're seeing yourself and the other person in that relationship, then the second thing is, okay, what do I look for to have this relationship where I can keep growing and expanding? And there are many different schools of thought to this. I think it's a dance between understanding that your experience is always your own creation. So how you carry your energy, how you are being in your beingness is always going to influence your experience of the other person or anybody in relationship. That's important. And it's a balance between that and also honoring that you don't have to be Jesus Christ, Buddha, or Gandhi, or anybody on the first go, right? If someone is genuinely feeling unpleasant to be around, it's okay to limit access to them. It's okay to say, I don't want to be in an intimate relationship with this person. I think sometimes we go to, and I've gone to both extremes of being like, you did this to me, and taking very little responsibility for my own experience, or then going on the other extreme of being like, I'm going to take on this experience and I'm going to be this saint when someone is, cursing me out or being violent towards me or whatever it might be. And finding the balance is a dance, and first of all, it takes practice to find that balance, and also it's going to shift in with time and with relationships. So no two relationships are ever the same. And as you grow and you mature and you develop things and you see more about yourself, you're also going to maybe shift in the way that you navigate that dance. So what are some tools, Deborah? You're telling me a lot of great big picture theory concept stuff. What are some tools that I can use today to start to be able to approach relationship in a way that's healthy, where I'm not becoming a complete 100% victim, but I'm also not pretending like I'm Teflon and that nothing bothers me, or trying to expect myself to be perfect and never have any issues, because that's also kind of dangerous. I use two really important tools. I use human design, which helps us to understand our energy mechanics. It helps us to understand how energy expresses itself in us, and how we can honor and cultivate and nurture our beingness so that it can be most appealing and most magnetic to a vibrational or frequency of another person who is a good match for us in that time, because we always attract our matches. We always attract our matches, wherever the person is and wherever we are. We will always be attracted to people who are our match, not for all time, but in that moment. Okay. So one thing I use is human design. The second thing I use is parts work, and particularly internal family systems, or IFS, is a really powerful and compassionate way to get to know our parts. So basically, a simple way to understand parts work is to say, we often say this, like, well, part of me is excited and a part of me is like terrified. We're talking about two parts. And so these two different parts are not all of who we are, they're aspects of who we are. And we have many parts. Every one of us has many parts. The nice thing about it is that we can overlay human design and IFS, or parts work, together and see that human design can be a way of understanding which parts are the strongest in our system, what their focus is, and really fine-tune our ability to support those parts in being able to express themselves in ways that are healthy and passionate. Why would we do this? When we understand and we're able to treat all of our parts with compassion, understanding, curiosity, trying to get to know them better, what ends up happening is that they become amazing allies, and they help us to express ourselves authentically, courageously, but also kindly and lovingly and respectfully, which makes us amazing relationship material and makes us much more likely to be in the right places at the right times, in the right ways, to be with other people who will also treat us kindly, lovingly, and respectfully. And if you're not in a relationship to be treated kindly, lovingly, and respectfully, then you can bypass this video, because it's not really going to be helpful for you, because that's really what we're about. More importantly, though, as you're getting to know your parts and you're getting really clear on what's important for you to take care of yourself, you're going to be less likely to tolerate excessive unkindness or abuse towards your own parts, and you're going to be less likely to perpetrate unkindness or abuse towards other people's parts. And ideally, in a relationship, the way that I guide or mentor people to look at it, you end up being the secondary caretaker of your partner's parts, and they end up being the secondary caregiver of your parts. And who's the primary? Of course, you are the primary caregiver of your own parts, and they are the primary caregiver of their parts. So when people understand how to treat themselves and their parts compassionately, guess what? They're much more likely to consistently treat you and your parts compassionately. And that's when you have a relationship where, yes, you're going to have struggles, yes, you're going to have problems, yes, you're going to have arguments, whatever, but you'll each be able to grow because you'll know how to do it in a way that's kind and compassionate and not just suffering and pain and all of that, but you'll actually be able to be kind and compassionate both to you and to them. And that is a relationship where you can continue to grow and expand, and it's always going to be stimulating and enriching and fulfilling, not only for the two of you, but for all who are affected and impacted by you. So that's all I want to say today. We talked specifically about intention behind why you're starting in the relationship, and then we also talked about what to start to look for. And particularly, I gave you two tools, human design and internal family systems or parts work, that you can use to start to really get to know yourself at a more intimate level, and more importantly, learn how to take care of yourself at an intimate level so that you then can attract others who will take care of you and themselves at an intimate level. I would love to read in the comments what your response is to this, and I would love to get into a discussion. What do you think I'm missing? There's more that I can say on it, but I would love to hear from you. What do you think I'm missing? All right, much love.